Hey everyone, welcome to the 30-day Speaker Summit. We got an amazing guest, Rama Siva, all the way from the UK. And, just to kind of give a little quick background, Rama has, even been an inspiration for myself as someone who has taken the leap into the realm of stuttering and confronted it and shared, even like myself, almost like one of my biggest insecurities growing up, and he owned it. And, that's something that I've always appreciated about Rama and kind of what he's all about. And we align on a lot of different things. So I'm super excited to really introduce you. If you guys don't know Rama, I'll give you a quick introduction to him. He is a speech and mind consultant for people who stutter. He works with men and women, helping them embrace their stutter and speak with freedom. Using a combination of modern psychology and ancient techniques, he helps people unlock the flow of energy through awareness, breath, and conscious guidance. He helps people feel connected to their body and mind, and from that place, create a change in their stuttering life. Now, in this interview specifically, we're going to be talking about spirituality and freedom from stuttering. And for a lot of people, if this is one of your first interviews in the summit, my name is Daniel Francis. I am the host of it. And in the summit, what I do is I interview 30 different speakers to share their perspective on communication. So 30 days from now, you can be a completely different speaker. So Rama, welcome to the summit.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for this introduction. It's great to be part of it.
I am too excited. If you guys only knew. So Rama, let's just kind of get into the interview. And one of the first questions I have for you is, what does spirituality mean to you, and freedom from stutter? What, in your own words, what does that mean to yourself?
For me, stuttering ruled my entire life, Daniel, from the moment that I woke up till the moment that I fell asleep. And now, being a spiritual person, I'm aware that I'm connected to the universe. By that I mean, if you think about it, we are on this planet Earth, and we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour around the sun. Can you imagine that? And what is holding us, Earth, and all the planets in the solar system, spinning around the sun in perfect harmony? There's got to be something more than just your stutter. And unfortunately, as a young child, the stuttering would just manifest without any clue. It would just happen. I had no awareness. But later on, as I grew older and older, now that I'm in my 45th year, I can see that now everything happened for a reason. There was a reason why I stuttered for so long. I could have gotten out of stuttering at a much younger age, but I would not be the person that I am now. And the person that I am now is a deeply spiritual person, realizing that we are all on this planet for a limited amount of time, and we're here to learn lessons. That is the real secret of school on earth. We think we are just here to play, but we are here to learn lessons which we don't even know that we need to learn. And for me, having a stutter was the most painful lesson. I suffered greatly in my mind. I wanted to impress people, and the stuttering would not allow me to communicate. And going on this journey of writing a book and interviewing people helped me to realize that everyone else has difficulties in their lives. And by you delving deep inside, realizing who is the true self. Because if you think about it, there is a voice in your head that keeps on talking. And that voice is mainly a negative voice. That was the case in my head. Michael Singer, in the book called The Untethered Soul, calls it the annoying roommate. And I had a roommate that I wanted to shut up, but it just wouldn't shut up. He would just carry on talking. And in the end, I had to live my life. And by living my life, irrespective of the stuttering, however bad it may or may not have been, because I realized quite early on, Daniel, at the age of 11, that I could speak to my cat without stuttering, but I couldn't speak to anyone else or another human being. And that gave me some insights into my stuttering life. And by going on a journey, realizing that you're more than just this body, you may have learned that there are various reincarnations of life. Whether or not you believe it or not, that's immaterial. The real fact is that you have only one life as Daniel. I have one life as Rama. And I'm here to learn lessons which I may or may not ever actually learn. But the thing is to keep on trying, to keep on persevering. And if you are struggling with stuttering, and if you've been in speech therapy for 30 years like I did, try mindfulness, try meditation, try yoga, try breath awareness, try all those other things which you may have not given much thought of doing previously. And my best advice would be to find someone who's already there, who's already where you want to be, and just model them, copy them, follow what they do as a routine, and you will see that stuttering can be decoded. It's no longer a mystery.
Very cool. We align on a lot of things, Rama. Too many things. Like that's why I live my life, right? Like, the whole lessons. I just believe my life is a bunch of lessons. And I either figure out the lessons in this life or in my next life. Or I'm going to figure them out at 20 or 30. And if I don't figure out them by 30, because I think we all have this where it's like this, especially for people who stutter, you have this gnawing thing at you saying, I want to handle this. And when you keep hiding it in the closet, you can hide it for a couple of years, but it's going to come right back out. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about. It's very cool because you got like the white background. So it looks like you're kind of like in heaven right now. So
Thank you. It does feel pretty quiet here.
So Rama, so let's actually let's kind of understand when you had that breaking point in your life where you said enough is enough. I'm going to handle my stutter and confront my fears. Was there like a time in your place? Because I know like anger is actually a good thing. And you like almost like, when you have a breakdown, that's when you have a breakthrough. So was there a time in your place where you're like, enough's enough and I'm doing this?
Yes, Daniel. So basically in the year 2009, I found out that the secret love of my life had died in a car accident. And why she was the secret love of my life? Well, I never actually told her. So that's a big secret. And then at the same time, I had the most embarrassing stuttering moment of my entire life. I'd been on a speech therapy program for over 10 years or nearly 10 years. And I just couldn't handle the speaking situation in a team meeting where I was a team leader or the acting team leader. I wanted to impress people with my speech, with my stuttering or lack of stuttering. And I stuttered. I stuttered so badly that I was a woodpecker. And then my mom died in 2010. So all these events coincided in me realizing that I needed to do something about my life, not my stutter. I needed to live my life. I needed to face rejection because that's the number one fear of my life, that I couldn't handle rejection by attractive ladies or girls. And I just decided to go out and learn Spanish. So I went to Spain to learn Spanish. And while I was there, I realized that the stuttering wasn't that bad. And over the next couple of years, I went with the express purpose of living my life practicing my Spanish, speaking to as many people as I could, Daniel. And by doing that, I realized that I no longer stuttered, or I no longer stuttered the way I used to as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult. I was 35 by that time. So at that age, my stuttering had evolved. I'd been in speech therapy since the age of 8. I'd learned all the techniques. And by that time, it was time for me to live my life and not worry about the stutter. So by me living my life, the stuttering just didn't have anywhere to hide, because if you are living a life, if you are having a fantastic time, enjoying yourself, going out, socializing, then the stuttering starts to loosen its grip around you. That's what happened in my case. And then writing the book was the first stage, because realizing that a lot of entrepreneurs face difficulties, face hardships, face adversities. I just had a stutter. Some people had learning difficulties. And those insights helped me to realize that I was more than just this human body. And realizing that I was connected to the universe. Nikola Tesla explains it well in his teachings. He talks about, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. If you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, Nikola Tesla is at another level of spirituality. He was able to tap into unseen forces to get insights that were way beyond his time. And I just thought to myself, if sciences are spiritual, then perhaps there's something more that we aren't being told by modern schooling system.
Very interesting. Something that almost like was my first real book in my life, as I hear you talk, is actually Think and Grow Rich. I'm sure you've read this a couple times.
Yes, I've heard of Napoleon Hill. I got the Law of Success.
Law of Success. Yeah.
The thicker version.
And well, the Law of Success is the first book. Think and
Yeah.
Grow Rich was the baby one, the watered down. And when I hear spirituality and kind of like where your level of thinking is, it's like connecting to the ether. There's like I don't know if you've obviously heard of this term before, but it's like the universe, or a higher level frequency. And to really get there, and I think I definitely want to hear your feedback on this as well. But I know when you're in a negative state or negative place, it's hard to connect to the ether, where the good thoughts, the creativity, the high vibrations, and your job is to stay at a high level to really get the ideas. And I think to overcome your stutter, when you're always feeling petty for yourself, feeling bad, it's really hard to overcome that. And I'm guessing when it comes to even what you teach people, is that a core fundamental within your program, is the type of thoughts and type of feelings you're having on a day-to-day basis?
Absolutely. I recommend that anyone who's listening right now, get a journal and start writing, and write the things that you're grateful for. So you can start, thank you for the food that I have. Thank you for the life that I have. Thank you for the health that I have. Because there are a lot of people in the world who are starving, who are not well at all. And you have a lot more than most of them. And we are fortunate to live in a Western country where the quality of life is very, very good. So if you start being grateful at those times of where you find your stuttering is at its worst, I'm not saying it's very easy. In fact, it's very difficult to be grateful for the stutter. But if you can find things that you're grateful for in your life, then you'll find the stuttering will start to not be the first thing you think about when you wake up. Because for most of my adult life, I would think about any upcoming presentations, any upcoming meetings, or any upcoming going out with friends to talk. I would be filled with anxiety and fear. But I'm not saying it's easy at all, but if you can start having a gratitude journal, write every morning what you're grateful for and thank the universe for what you have, you will get more of that. And if you start to become what you want to be, by that, what I mean is if you want more love in your life, you be more loving. If you want more kindness in your life, be more kind. And just by shifting this mindset in your own head, you will see that instead of being focused on the stuttering, you will start to be focused on something else. And by being focused on something else, a speech will inevitably stop being the first thing you think about. If you stumble, so what? So what? If you actually look at the world, most of the people stumble. We people stutter. We think we stumble a lot more than we actually do. I'm saying this with the benefit of hindsight because I'm 45. Way back then when I was 18, 20, 25, I was so worried about stuttering. It wasn't the actual stuttering which was driving the stuttering, it was the fear of stuttering. And why was it? Because I just couldn't accept the fact that I was anxious, I was afraid. I wanted to be seen as competent. I wanted to be seen as equal. And I thought that by stuttering, I would be seen as retarded or I would be seen as a lesser person, which is why I struggled for so long when I was working at number 10 Downing Street, because everyone was important. Anyone who worked there was important. And with everyone, I would stutter because I was giving myself too much pressure on wah, 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 wanting to be fluent. Now I'm a master of the letting of the bah, bah, block technique, wah. What that means is that I'm able to bah, bring it on and off at will. So on my 100-day program, you will master the bah, belly breathing, you will master the speaking at the perfect moment, you will master the letting of the bah, block technique. And after you master that, you will start to cover affirmations, visualizations. And by using the power of your mind, you can get yourself out of your stuttering for good. If you stumble, it's okay. I give you permission to stumble. It takes courage, determination, persistence to get out of stuttering. No one got out of stuttering taking a magic pill. This is not Matrix. There's no red or blue pill. However, Matrix is a great movie. And there's a lot of truth in that movie.
Yeah, there is.
But in terms of stuttering, you need to change your mindset. You need to change your habits. You need to change the way you think about yourself. And finally, you need to change your identity. You have identified yourself as a stutterer. You carry yourself in every speaking situation as a stutterer. And because your identity is so intertwined into your breathing, into your speaking habits, you find that whenever you go, you stutter because that's your default.
So you talk about how you've done speech therapy for years and years, and you obviously use some techniques, but it didn't do the job. Why? Where was the disconnect there?
Okay, fantastic question, Daniel. So let's go back to when I was 18 years of age. So I was in a speech therapy room at a hospital. They locked me up for 2 weeks. And actually, that's a joke. But I was willingly a participant for 2 weeks at my local hospital. And there they taught me the slow speech. And it goes like this. The dog and the gerbil are said to make very good pets. Now, this technique would have worked 100% if I had the balls to go up and speak to Jennifer Lopez. Hey, J-Lo, what's your number? But do you think I had the balls to go up to an attractive woman and speak like that?
No.
No way. However, age 25, different technique. This was the coastal breathing and the block release, as it's termed there, called letting go of the block on my program. Now, with this technique, I'm sharing a different concept. I'm helping my clients to stutter like a lion. You can either stutter like a mouse, and I don't want to say any rude words.
Okay.
And you can imagine the words I'm going to say. You can speak like a mouse, or you can stutter like a lion with power and confidence, with courage. And you stutter like this for a period of time. All the techniques are there is to give you confidence.
Yeah.
It's just like a training wheel on a bicycle, just like learning to drive a car.
Yeah.
You drive. When you first start to drive, you probably stall the car, but now you just drive without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you use the techniques to build your confidence in your ability to speak in front of people. Most people who stutter don't stutter when they're by themselves. Did you stutter when you were by yourself, Daniel?
No.
No. It was only when you were in front of an audience.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a speech therapist, you might have found that your stuttering was a little better because you were not threatened by the therapist.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But with an audience, an attractive Jennifer Lopez looking at you, or Jessica Alba, you might get a bit nervous.
That's funny.
Because do, and you stutter.
Yeah. So if I could put it into one thing, what speech therapy didn't do was prepare you for an audience. It prepared you for the one-to-one, but those techniques didn't really work when you were in front of J-Lo. Is that really what you're getting at?
In the real world, the techniques I learned in speech therapy themselves didn't work. What I learned on the program run by recovering stutterers is coastal breathing and letting go of the block, and those type of techniques help you to a certain extent, but the real secret is that you need to push yourself or find a coach to push you off the cliff. Because if you have J-Lo in front of you, and really, if you have J-Lo in front of you,
really,
the normal reaction of a stutterer would be to disappear. You got to push yourself to get out of your comfort zone. The brain is there to do two things. One is to do the least amount of work and to protect you. That's a scientific fact, not Rama talk. Okay? Google it. The brain is there to do the least amount of work and to protect you. Now, your brain, your mind, is protecting you by not allowing you to go up and speak to J-Lo and have this fascinating conversation. But if you can switch off that part and face your fear and feel discomfort, feel the anxiety, and speak, then you might have an interesting conversation with J-Lo. Maybe she'll start to sing for you.
That's awesome. So when it comes to this idea of free from stutter, and you talk about it, what are, if you could name some like end results that free from stutter creates in someone's life and why that's so vital for people. What answers would you give to that?
I would say it's free from the stuttering mind because people stumble. And if you watch the Prime Minister's conference, Boris Johnson from the UK, you will see that he stumbles a lot more than I do. I've been on TV and he stumbles a lot more, believe me. And he's not a stutterer. So freedom from stuttering mind means that you're free from anxiety, you're free from the fear, you're free from the opinions of other people, you're free from judgment. By that, I mean, you can go up to a TV and do an interview without being anxious, without being stressed, without sweating, without feeling your heart palpitations. That is freedom from stuttering mind. Freedom from stuttering, it may not come in this lifetime, maybe in the next lifetime, Daniel. But what you can get is freedom from stumbling. Because if you look at chronic stutterers, there are people who can't say a single word, even to me. They've called me up. I'm a coach, consultant. I'm a person who stutters, but they can't say a single word to me. Now, depending how old they are, if they're in their 50s, 60s, they may not think it's worth it because they have tried speech therapy. They've had the negative experiences of trying and they've given up. But if they're in their 20s and they haven't had that much negative experiences of failing,
Yeah.
because you need to fail.
Yeah.
How many times did Thomas Edison try to make a light bulb?
Was
They
it?
say 1,000 times.
Yeah.
1,000 times, exactly. So if you had given up at 999, we may still be in the dark, my friend. Or maybe he pinched it from Tesla. I don't know.
That's awesome. Poor Tesla. Eh? That's
Yeah.
too funny.
Well, he died a poor man. He was
Yeah.
in a hotel and the FBI confiscated all his secret technology.
Poor guy. Thomas Edison, that son of a gun. So before we actually wrap up this interview, I want to ask you, in your own words, you know, um, as you talk about spirituality, what in your own words is a great life to you? Because I could see you're connected to a higher source. And I think for a lot of people, we always go to this one goal, which is I want to be 100% fluent. That is the end goal. And that is where I'm going. And I don't think that is the end goal. So I want, in your words, Rama, what is a good life? And then for everyone watching right now, I'm going to do a bonus interview with Rama where he's going to go more in depth with what he does and the exact practicalities to applying this to your own life if you stutter and if you want to overcome it. So let's go back to the first question. What does a good life mean to Rama?
For me, Daniel, is being able to have you reach out to me and do a podcast interview without any preparation, any anxiety, any fear, just talk on the fly like I'm talking to a friend. And that is what I hope everyone who's listening, that they too can get to a level that they can do an interview or talk to their friends, family, joke, have fun, express themselves, be their authentic self without worrying about their stuttering.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer. I think we get so caught up. Like, is there becoming 100% fluent, Rama? Is that real? Or is that just a wrong way of looking at it?
In my experience, it is not possible to become 100.0000%, maybe 99.9998%, because I stumble. But do I care? No. So I'm 100% free from the stuttering mind because my mind doesn't care about my stuttering. Prior to 3 or 4 years ago, it did. Every stumble, every stutter, I would have to work on my speech, meaning I would have to phone people, I would have to say the word 10 million times.
Mm.
And then when I went back into the real life situation, I would still block again. So what's the point of doing that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a yeah. So Rama, if they want, for everyone who's watching this right now, if they want to reach out to you or learn more about what you do, where are the best places, the best links for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, the best place to get me is at Instagram or on YouTube. Just look for Stuttering Mind, or you can send an email to me at hellorama@stutteringmind.com, and I'll be glad to assist you as much as I can.
And those two books, because I know you've written two books. What are the two books? They are on Amazon because I've purchased one. I highly recommend everyone watching this right now go on Amazon. But what are the two books, Rama, that people can buy from
Yeah,
yourself?
the first book is called Rich Thinking, 66 Days to Freedom. The second book is called Dreaming of Stuttering Freedom, and they are both on Amazon. My latest book, which I'm working on now, is going to include stories from my clients as I take them through the 100-day program.
That's beautiful. Well, I'm excited to hear that. So, for everyone watching, this is Rama. Thank you so much, Rama. So, again, we do a bonus interview with Rama in the All Access Pass. So, if you haven't upgraded yet, be sure to upgrade. It's something you definitely don't want to miss out. So, with that being said, Rama, I appreciate you. I appreciate your story and your life and the journey that you've done. And I'll see you very soon. Take care.
Thank you, Daniel.